Not even gonna hold you, man. Oh, I went into this with no intentions on what this was gonna be. But it is obviously a pick a pile reading. And I want you to pick a crystal that you feel most called towards. And I'm gonna give you the scoop on what you need to know. Because right now what's currently going on in the sky is a stellium in Aries. Almost every fucking planet that you can think of. And we have a couple of planets that are in Pisces, including Mercury, which I feel like there is, I don't know what I want to call it, the after shadow of Mercury in retrograde still lingering because there is quite a few things that I know is going on with a lot of people. Rapid change, unexpected turns, and that falls on anywhere on the spectrum. But moving along, this is going to be pile 1, Septarian Stone, pile 2, Angelite, and pile 3, Jasper Stone. Actually, Ocean Jasper Stone. So I'll meet you at your respective pile. So I'm not even gonna hold you. It was very hard to pick these cards up off the fucking floor. Okay. I was fighting to pick that shit up. And I feel like this has a lot to do with some of you that are struggling to pick something up off the ground. You're struggling to materialize something. You're struggling to take ideas and make it into something tangible because we see the 2 and the 1 year and that adds up to 3. And this is a solo effort. 2 of Wands. You are so high in the sky of the perspective of this idea. You can see all moving components of this idea, but you don't know how to connect the dots. And that's good because it means that you see a vast potential for this project, this idea to expand. Okay. This is the mindset of someone who believes that the world is their oyster. And it might have took some time to get back into the space. You're probably depleted of so many different resources. Okay. I don't know if you had to transition into, a different job and maybe it pays less, or maybe you're being put in a liminal space where everything that you've done and acquired before was just very fast paced. You could be a life path 3. You could be somebody who's very accustomed to networking and resourcing with so many different people everywhere you go. Okay, you're the person that stays with a job. You're the person that stays plugged in whenever you need something. And it's always been fast paced. Always, always, always. If you needed to get your feet back up or get back on your feet, you know somebody. Okay, those resources are never too far. But there is something about you jumping the gun on certain ideas that you don't always fully take the time out to see something at its fullest potential. And now that you do, you're kind of struggling to figure out how to make it happen. Very quick and on the go. You're always on the go, just riding the dragon and just going wherever life takes you. And this is frustrating you because you're at a point where it's kind of like you're not accustomed to being overly detailed. You're so accustomed to jumping in and getting your feet wet. But this thing is so far away, you're just kind of like, fuck, what do I do? What can you do? I feel like here, I don't know if it's sort of like your eyes are too big for your stomach. And this is a stage in your life where you need to develop that hunger. Flirting around with it, learning how to develop this sense of conviction while life is just going so fast. Learning to keep this connection, this passion with this idea while trying to entertain and feed so many other aspects of your life that just feels so demanding right now. It's like everybody wants your attention, everybody needs your expertise, your support somewhere, but it's just like, fuck, like, I just want time to preserve the space for this. Because you may not want to hear this, but spending up to a year investing in this particular project or this idea could really, really drastically change things for you. You got to understand that wand energy is very fast. So whatever this is, you're thinking of more than one way to acquire it. And this Ace of Pentacles is reversed. So in my mind, I mean, we've already, addressed that it's taking some time to figure out the schematics of the plan and figure out the whole blueprint. Maybe it has a lot to do with where you're going to get the investment in order to see the beginning stages of its tangibility. Maybe you're working out, who is it that I can collaborate with to pick this up off the ground? Who's trustworthy enough? Who has the same hunger? Who's just as resourceful as I am? Who's willing to learn in order to get this thing going? Because it's very promising. This adds up to 7, and 7s could have a lot to do with partnerships. And I don't know. And I feel like that's just for some of you, right? I feel like for most of you, you're trying to get this going on your own. Maybe you're looking for hedge investors, those who fund. There's this website. I don't know if maybe I can plug it in the description box. But if you have some type of plan for a startup company or a product and you just don't have the funds for it, there are so many grants available, for individuals that represent themselves. Doesn't have to be a part of a nonprofit. Okay, you don't have to be a part of an organization. You just have to have your budget written up, where you're going to make the investments. Okay, the percentage that you're willing to let go or willing for the investor to own. That's just for God, fuck. I gotta like look it up in order to really give you the website verbatim. But this definitely has a lot to do with seeking investors and looking for someone who believes in this idea just as much as you do. No sleep. I'm hearing getting no sleep. Batanache. Mm. I feel like I could be talking to someone who has a tendency to really be of the flesh, of fleshly matters. I hate to sound like I'm Catholic or, above sex or anything, because I'm not. I'm really just being funny. But working so much that you kind of just want to like grind on the side. You know what I'm saying? Like, you kind of like, you're just like, I just need to, release. Like, oh my gosh, because it's getting hard out here, man. Like, no pun intended. Like, you're just out here on the grind and you're just like, fuck, like, I'm gonna make the side quest to make things happen, and take some edge off so I can get back to the grind. And I feel like for some of you, you're probably going to be taking the approach where you're going to prefer you being detached a little bit more in order to stay focused, because there's something very powerful about your root chakra and really breathing life into that. And that means being very, very intentional on who's in your space, who you're sleeping with. Okay, some of you guys are on the intangible side because pentacles can sometimes rule intangible things and the relationships that we have with the immaterial. And it could have a lot to do with you. Oh my gosh. It's and there's a simple word for it. I almost said eunuch. Like male equivalent to like a nun. You're gonna preserve yourself for the sake of learning how to transmute the sexual energy into something that can give life back to you, or for the sake of creating something that will have longevity in your life. There are other two cards that came up that I didn't put on the table. It's the Eight of Cups and the Lovers. You spend so much time fonding, thinking of the many ways that you can invest in this direction and how life-changing it could be for you. And maybe that's key. Okay, the key is building emotional rapport. And I guess when you do treat something like, uh, like the foreplay of wanting something you can have, but you're kind of just taking your time, you know, learning the intricate details of this person, what they like, what they want, what they need. It's almost as if maybe the key for you is sort of looking at this opportunity as like a magnetic and individual that you want to obtain, absorb, become one with. And I think the key to certain people's success sometimes is developing a healthy type of obsession where it pushes you to do better. Oftentimes I hear those type of stories when it comes to the partnerships that people pursue. Well, I wanted this woman, or I wanted this guy, I wanted this person, and I feel like I wasn't good enough. So I feel like I had to transform in order to step up and be the person I know I could be for them, or morph into the person I was always meant to be in order to achieve them and achieve more. And for you, I think it starts with emotional conviction. And after you've developed that conviction, you allow aspired action to move you like a chess piece in a game. I feel like that's it. I don't think there's any more. I don't think there's anything more. I don't think there's anything more than that. But I will do something I haven't done before, and that's pull out an oracle card, a dream card, because it is some Pisces placements in here somewhere. Well, excuse me, I meant to say courtesy of the Pisces transit that we are experiencing. What are some messages, or what is a message I can give to call on? Doctor, heal thyself. If I can put this up here. Or I'm on the wrong side, am I? Yeah, I am. Heal thyself. I've never pulled this one, so I'm very curious to see what the fuck this is about. There is not a problem you don't already have the answer for, nor is there an ailment for which you don't already possess the cure. Inject yourself with the confidence to administer self-care into your own IV, along with the awareness that you are, what is this, incubating in a bath of pure positive energy. Imagine yourself in your white coat, channeling universal healing wisdom in and through your very being, your prescription. This is a question mark. Wait, your prescription? Up your daily dosage of forgiveness and gratitude until you vibrate with well-being, which produces a medicinal effect on all those with whom you administer care. Your mantra: I am the authority of the temple of my physical, emotional, and spiritual well-being. Get the fuck out of here, man. I'm glad this came out because I be knowing what the fuck I'm talking about. There is not a problem you don't already have the answer for. You're overthinking it. This is about going within. When the Ace of Pentacles reverse, excuse me, because I be skipping around words. I know I'm thinking it, but it does not always come out of my mouth. When the Ace of Pentacles is reverse, okay, you're talking about something that is yet to be unearthed, okay? And this is something that's within you. And I feel like you're over analyzing the details. Start with the basics. Name it. Think of its character design and think of its purpose. Or there is no or. You know what the fuck this message is. Yo. Oh my god. I think it's because I'm hungry. But yeah, good luck, Paul 1. Wow, you know what I'm hearing? Oh my gosh, Paul 2. There is a song that I used to be obsessed with as everybody else back in college. Or shit, maybe even back in fucking high school. I don't know. It's by Alina Baraz and Galamatius. I believe that's how you pronounce the name. And Fantasy. First that came out. And then Palm Trees by Goldlink, which sampled that song. Both very great. I believe from two distinctive times. Goldlink especially, because I believe I was also in college when that came out. Man, I'm hearing a lot. I'm hearing a lot of Alina Baraz songs now. What's going on? What is it? I'm not getting daydreaming. You're not daydreaming. Huh. Patience. It could have a lot to do with what you're looking forward to. You've been investing a lot of time into this career, and I feel like you are about to experience a payout that's about to be pretty big. So big, in fact, that you're going to be going back to it's almost like you're achieving something and you're allowing yourself to go back to the stages of a student because you know you're going to need to learn more. With this windfall or reaping these rewards, you are somebody that's very, very practical with your finances. And it's almost as if every time you make a big win, you're just sort of like, okay, I'm going to take this and I'm going to invest it elsewhere so that I can continue furthering my education and expand my wealth even further. You are somebody that's very, very, very diligent, very, very persistent in what you want. And I think that's why I hear fantasy. That's why I hear palm trees. Because you're longing to get to a place where you can actually celebrate your wins. And I mean in places where you can put your feet up, relax, enjoy the view, feel the sun on your skin, feel the sand between your toes. Lay up next to your loved one, because I'm hearing a lot of you are in long-term relationships as well. And that maybe you guys work diligently together as a partnership so that you guys can have a soft life together. Or maybe continue being on the grind from different spaces that allow you to be comfortable. And I'm hearing for some people, you are learning how to invite luxury within your space so that you can work more diligently, work more intentionally. Because the Knight of Pentacles, they welcome slow growth. They're a very methodical person. You know, I like to see this more so as a Taurus rule card. So you could have Taurus in the 12th house. You could have Capricorn in the 12th house. Fuck. There is some other interpretations from the Golden Dawn of Tarot. Because they have a system that's acclimated to the cards and different zodiac placements. But, and excuse me if you hear my niece in the background, she's just happy to be alive. Uh, Knight of Pentacles is somebody who's in it with the intention to achieve something, no matter how long the road is. Okay, not forgetting to enjoy themselves along the way. But they know that once they reach the destination, that they're going to have their feet up for a long time. And they know that they never stop learning. It's almost like the conquest of it's been so long since I watched it. I'm seeing Gon. I'm seeing Kurapika. And if you know, you know this is from Hunter x Hunter. And then there's the third guy. I think his name is Leorio. It's almost like I'm seeing somebody of that particular nature. I don't know if I'm speaking to anybody that's practicing law, but you do have a particular system where it's so practical in nature and so by the book that you're kind of like, you kind of remind me of that character in some way, not gender specific or anything like that. I'm just picturing this archetype altogether: tall, lanky, glasses, um real slick. It's almost as if I'm speaking to someone who's at work and they know they can get away with a lot of shit because they read the handbook. You know what I'm saying? So they'll never be made out to be a bitch by any subordinate, any employer. You're not playing none of that. But, and I could be speaking, and this is very specific, I could be speaking to someone who has Saturn in the ninth house. Saturn in the ninth house. I have to move around a little bit because I have sciatica. Saturn in the ninth house, and which is a really, really good placement depending on what sign governs that house. Because it has a lot to do with someone who's very persistent. I want to say in publishing, that favors a place for those who write and share research. It's a very, very good placement for those who are curious or those who are interested in a particular area. But to have placements in a ninth house such as this, you're always rising to the occasion to know more. Okay, and you do it with a sense of play, you do it with a sense of curiosity. And I feel like I'm being called to really break down this methodology and the way that you explore things through the number of the card. So the 12th house, because this is 12, would have a lot to do with your mindset, which already given you praise for. Seven of Pentacles, 7th house. A lot of people may think or limit themselves or just limit that house into believing that it's only about marriages. It's only about business partnerships, in which some of you probably are. But this also has a lot to do with your relationship with the immaterial, your relationship with your work, with your work ethic. 7 in numerology is the teacher. So it often has a lot to do with what your learning style is. And there's something about you being very attentive to detail, or you getting a hold of a methodology, and this could be through somebody that you're learning from online. You could be somebody who really favors Warren Buffett. You might like a lot of financial gurus. I feel like I'm speaking to a lot of people who trade, and that this could be a very, very good time for you. Getting a good investment on your return, and it's enough to take a small portion of that and invest it in a new area that you're curious about, and it's gonna turn out pretty good for you. Not even gonna hold you. I'm not even getting anything else. There's nothing else to get. It's really not, because underneath the deck, Temperance, the 6 of Swords, this adds up to 11. So this is radical change. That's Uranus energy. This is doing something that is completely out of the box for you. I feel like I could be speaking to someone in the age demographic that might be in their 40s, early 40s, mid 40s, late 40s. I could also be speaking to someone who is between the ages of 25 and 31. Or I could be speaking to someone who has an old soul, really ahead of their time, and loves getting into practical stuff like this, having to do with their finances. But when you see the Temperance underneath the deck, that has a lot to do with you being in the state of flow. Okay, you're working closely with God, and you're working closely with a higher source, or maybe the source is just within you. Learning how to find the silver lining through the act of play, through discipline, spiritual discipline at that. I feel like I'm speaking to someone who prays a lot, or always moves with the intention to have God in mind, or asks for favor in the direction that you're going. But then there's the Empress reverse here. And then there's the 3 of Wands, and then there's the 9 of Cups. The Empress reverse, it's like, yes, this is about perspective. This is about perspective. It is, it is, it is. It is. Because when the Empress is reversed, that is someone who is oftentimes infertile. They're not allowing themselves to open up and receive. I feel like you're somebody that is like do or die. Like, I have to learn this, or I'm not going to be able to get my feet out the dirt. You know, I have to learn this, or um, I don't want to say it exactly like that, or I'm going to be stuck in the same space or doing what everybody else is complacent in. And you're somebody that hates complacency. You are. I feel like I'm speaking to someone who's already had enough near-death experiences that they're just kind of like, we got to play this the right way. Like, you're eating healthy. The self-talk with yourself is becoming more, I don't know, I feel like it's very black and white, it's very militant, and I feel like you could be speaking to yourself in a more digestible way, or in a way that's a little bit more nurturing. And I feel like I'm speaking to someone who may have not had a nurturing mother. That's what it is. You had a very absent mother in your life, and it's caused you to have to look up to other figures in power in order to compensate for that. You have this thing, being fearful of not being in control. And I feel like this is courtesy of Saturn that's in the ninth house as well, because Saturn represents the father of the zodiac, right? It's a person that is, what was it, energy, I'm going to say, a planet that's cold, resistant, stops you in your tracks. And have that in the ninth house, it could debilitate you oftentimes. If it's not in its own sign, like Capricorn or Aquarius, you're going to be challenged. And what restricts you a lot is oftentimes playing by the book or being too by the book in your approach, to the point where you're limiting yourself from seeing other options that can be easier, seeing other options that opens up this element of play within you. And I'm hearing for some people, it's like gambling. It's almost like you learn this might be, hope y'all niggas not doing this at the tables at a casino where y'all just counting cards and shit. Is that what and not to say that it's illegal, but they will kick you the fuck out. It's like you having a methodology that is it's okay. It's like you know how to learn the system very well and you add your own spin to it. It's like you have a very intuitive nature to the things that you do, especially when it comes to gambling or when it comes to making certain investments and things of that particular nature. But what's missing is the feminine archetype. What's missing is the nurturing aspect, the emotional intelligence of someone who wants to play. I think the whole point is allow yourself to expand outside of your rigid horizons or rigid perspective. And oh my gosh, you'll see a whole playing field of things that can help you expand. It's almost like you're being pushed to evolve your intuition. How can they do this? How can one do this? Let me look at the top of the deck, because that's gonna give it to me. The World card reverse, Four of Swords reverse, the Hangman reverse. It just goes on and on and on. Oh man, you're probably not gonna like this. I think it has a lot to do with you addressing a lot of things that's been missing in your life. I feel like I could be speaking to someone who's in the year personal 6, because I keep seeing 6. And I'm seeing 6s in general, 6th house things. Looking at the generational habits of your forefather, your mother, and their working styles. You are breaking a generational pattern where you don't have to rely on doing hard labor in order to provide for yourself and as well as your family, because you are a risk taker. You are a risk taker, but I feel like I'm speaking to somebody whose body is sort of like out of commission, like too young to be feeling this way. And there is a certain spiritual intelligence that almost feels hereditary in a way, but I feel like everybody sort of has like that gambler's itch where they get a lot of it and then they just fuck it up. You might have to address this mother wound that you have in order to fully access the spiritual gift that you have, because it can change everything for you. All right. I don't even feel like I need to give you an oracle card. Nah, I don't need to give you an oracle card. It feels very straightforward. Very straightforward. And it's coming full circle. It's like you're gonna reap the rewards of what you've been working on, but it's going to bring you right back to a space where you have to learn something new. You're being asked to rise to the occasion, and that is by expanding your perception. This is ninth house things. Ninth house things has a lot to do with higher learning, philosophy. Your philosophy is going to be key to you creating longevity within your stability. Ooh, good luck, Pow 2. Pow 2, Ocean Jasper. If you chose Ocean Jasper, welcome. Did I say Pow 2? I meant to say Pow 3. Whoa, so there might be something in there for you. If you chose or thought about choosing Pow 2, I'd recommend you go there as well. You want to know something as well? Twice now I've seen Two of Wands and Ace of Pentacles upright. So if you made a quantum leap from Pow 1 to Pow 3, big ups to you, because what the fuck? All right. Okay, Two of Wands has a lot to do with plans that you're making. Okay, and I feel like this has a lot to do with creative output. I'm seeing these things add up to 7. Wow. This is courtesy of the time it's taken for you to build rapport. This is going to sound so crazy, with the creative dimensional aspect of self. I feel like you've always been a creative individual. And now you get to make investments with that. Investments within yourself. You could be a relatively good looking person. And you know what? Why am I getting, I want to make sure I'm right. I feel like this could have a lot to do with you getting an opportunity because of your good looks, and not because of your good looks, but because of your creativity. It's almost as if you're going to be outsourced for some type of project. There is somebody that's going to want to invest in you. And I think it's because of the way that you are displaying yourself. I feel like you're somebody that has like a certain sex appeal that a lot of people admire. And they're just thinking like, this person could take his magnetism and go so many different places. Okay, I'm almost looking at this Two of Wands as like a talent agency scout. And he's looking down at the King of Cups like, man, like, I need to put that man in a show. I need to put this man or this woman, this person in a show. And I feel like, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna make me some bucks. This is gonna be something, because all of this adds up to 8. We have 2, 5, and then we have 1, and that adds up to 8. 8 is Scorpio. Okay, you could have a really, really nice physique. As far as the creative nature of who you are, because you have the ocean jasper here. That's a connection between the solar plexus and your heart chakra. So it's not like I'm speaking to someone who sings. I don't think so. I'm not getting anything melodic about that. I feel like I'm speaking to someone who, you're very humble in the way that you carry yourselves, that oftentimes you don't even realize how attractive you are. You're just kind of like, oh, you know, like, I'm just out here chilling. I'm just out here detached. You know, I'm just out here doing me. You know, but it's just kind of like, nah. Oh, Power 3. I feel like you're going to be acting different because your whole perception of self is changing because of this opportunity. You're going from 6 of Wands, you're going from the Tower. I think a lot of you, it just has a lot to do with the perception of self. The self-talk has been getting so much better that you're making breakthroughs. You know, this false illusion that you had prior to you feeling as if you couldn't be able to utilize your appeal to go anywhere. That's going to change drastically for you. Maybe before you had some pretty rigid perspectives about work, or I'm sorry, you utilizing this innate ability or this aesthetic for work because you didn't feel like it was honest. Maybe you're very aware of how consumed you can be in the lifestyle. And a part of it could be that you just, I don't want to be controlled. I want to be able to make my own decisions, be my own boss, and it could be that I'm not speaking to someone that's super religious. I'm speaking to someone who has morals, kind of like, fuck, like, I don't want to be in a compromising situation where, it's not fun anymore, or I'm compromising my own morals, or the money's so good that I'm just losing compassion for all things. You don't want to lose yourself in this opportunity, because when you get to eights, when you get to a Scorpio rule thing, it's something that can become very, very intense. Very intense. You don't want to get swallowed by the beast, which is the industry. But this is a very promising direction. Okay, Four of Pentacles reverse, the Five of Wands, and the Artist reverse at the top of the deck. It's going to push you to release your inhibitions. You have permission to really let go and let loose. There's no competition at all, because you know what it is? Because you're being chosen. You're choosing yourself. You're choosing yourself, you're recognizing yourself. And in return, it's allowing you to be recognized. Okay? And through this, you get to illustrate the life that you want. Because when I see the artist and I see it in reverse, it's someone who's afraid to have sovereignty over their own lives. I don't know if you grew up in a super religious household, or you've been accustomed to people being in your ear telling you, oh, that's not a real career. You can't it's not going to last too long. They don't know that. They've never been in your position before. You haven't. The only thing I can tell you is read contracts, learn how to negotiate your own worth, your own value. All right, especially if you're sweating for that bag. In the words of Quinlan Blackwell. Okay, yeah, the phone definitely died on my ass, but yeah. There is a lot of people you grew up under that believes that this career choice is not ideal for you, but it's not about them. It's not about them. You are a unique individual, okay, who is emotionally intelligent enough, intuitive, and capable enough to know how this works out for you. And because you have slowly been building a rapport with that, with your own potential, okay, and it probably took for you to recognize people that recognize that within you to, fully take it at face value. You're gonna get an opportunity that's gonna prove everybody wrong. And it's and if it's an eighth house thing, I feel like it's gonna be, I don't I mean, it's just gonna come out of nowhere. And intuitively, I feel as if you feel that. You feel that. You really do. You do. Let's see. Is there anything else I said before that? No, I don't think so. For some, I feel as if it's okay. I'm getting you being in this workspace. I don't know if you work with a younger demographic or you work with children who are autistic. Maybe you're a substitute teacher. And I'm getting that you have been called in. It's sort of like someone has recognized your credentials and see that you're able to build really, really good rapport with children. You know, especially because I'm seeing a 7 here, which is about oftentimes, it just reminded me of conflict, like 7th house things. And you being so diplomatic that they're kind of like, man, like, if there's anybody I need to call on, this is the guy. And I feel like some position somewhere gets freed up, like a school guidance counselor quits or they put on maternity leave or something like that. And you're sort of offered this position to be a guidance counselor or a mentor within this working environment. That's incredible. That is cool. And that is definitely an opportunity you should definitely consider. I feel like that's for very few people. Is there anything else? No. I think I'm gonna pull an oracle card for you. Bathroom. You know it's crazy. What am I hearing? Man, power 3. Please, please, please. You are going to be pulled in temptation when it comes to this opportunity. You are. Okay, not the school guidance counselor part. I'm not getting any energy with that, no. Um I do feel like in this part of the industry, there are people who are preyed upon, and then there's people who, of course, do the preying. Keep your guards up, protect your assets, okay? No pun intended, but also just protect yourself in general. Like, there's huge emphasis on that. And you know what's crazy? I'm looking at 2 oracle cards here, and in my mind, I'm like, fuck, like, this one makes more sense because you're transitioning into a space where everything is taken off for you. But I'm like, that's the point. It's not about the logical choice now, is it? But in the message of bathroom, it says, flush away all that no longer serves you. This is crazy. As aforementioned, I feel like you have this tendency to limit your own perception due to everybody else's input. And it sends you into this swirling frenzy, this mess that just accumulates over time. And I don't know where I was going with that analogy. I was going to be like, and it's you that gets the splash back. That's so fucking disgusting. Let me stop. But you know what I'm saying. You get what I'm trying to say. What the fuck was that? Okay, so yeah, you are ending a chapter where you are not allowing other people's perceptions to overcloud yours because you are intuitively capable of understanding how something works. You have now fully acknowledged what your greatest attributes and credentials consist of, and you can now use that to your advantage and actually reap the rewards of that. you are going to do so well. You're going to do incredibly well. And within this transition, you need to make sure that you eradicate all old belief systems that no longer fit you, no longer abide by you. Because I'm not even going to hold you. I feel like I'm not going to say it's going to create quite a distance between you and this parental guardian or your peers that assumed otherwise, that you being able to make something out of yourself in this direction. But they are going to eat the words. They're going to eat the words. For sure, for sure. And I keep hearing Getting No Sleep by Tinashe. I've been hearing that a lot. And I think it has a lot to do with how hard you've worked to get here. And also how hard you're going to be willing to work to transition into this new industry, which I don't think is going to be hard at all. But there's something about the unique way that you've transitioned into this position, because people are going to think it's easy. But like Tinashe, you stuck to your own unique way of earning. You might be starting a vlog series to really explain what the in between transitions felt like, before fully stepping over into the other side of the industry. Not that it matters what people think, but I think it's going to be for your own sake, so that people know and understand it took a lot of strength and conditioning, not with just your body, but your mind and your spirit, in order to really receive this with open arms. It took a lot, okay? And you need to take credit for all of it. Oh my gosh. Oh, fuck, I'm about to end it. I need to read the fucking. Fuck. Message. Nature abhors a vacuum, and you can't receive the new influx of blessings, wealth, and creativity if you're holding on to the old. You may need some privacy while you do your releasing, crying, screaming, sleeping, whether they be behind closed doors. I was going to say out in the open, but that defeats the purpose of privacy, right? Like, okay. Once you feel safe and unguarded, unclench and relieve yourself of the grip you've had on the way you thought life was supposed to be. Flush away all resentments and attachments. Give something away today that used to be valuable to you. As you emerge lighter, you are open to something better than you could ever have imagined. That is amazing. You know what happened? I'm going to share a personal story. Just real quick before I hop off this bitch. I experienced sciatica quite a lot. And it wasn't until I had a conversation with my mom back in Indiana where her sharing, oh shit, her sharing her experiences with her car crash and how the pain and the trauma stays with her because it's something that she has to live with every day. The aftermath of what you can experience with a car crash. It's not just trauma that is psychologically present, but when it's physical, it's insane. I still have a pinched nerve. And the pain was so insurmountable yesterday that I ended up doing some type of stretches that were such a somatic release that I think I had the longest cry ever, because there was so much trauma that was stored in that area that I'm so accustomed to just getting up and going and just doing whatever I can to just push through the day, because I can't wait. I have stuff to do. And me taking the time out to really understand the traumatic experience that I had and releasing all the trauma that came along with it, it means overlooking, a lot of other aspects of my life. Those things accumulate. and it withholds himself within certain areas of your body. So to have that release was just insane. And not to say as if you're somebody that's experienced trauma within your body, but there is some type of trauma that's stored in some area of you. I don't know if it's so 5 and 6, traumas with work, traumas with careers that just felt so exhausting and physically and emotionally taxing on the body that you're just like, goodness gracious, there has to be more than this. Like at this point, I don't care if I'm the shallow one. I know I'm not meant to endure labor. That's what the spread is giving. And you're right. It's your truth. Big ups to you. Please like, share, subscribe, comment. I'm a pretty open dude. And it's an exchange, you know. I do this at no cost. I just want to make sure my video gets out to the right people. So help me out with the algorithms. I'd appreciate it so much.